For the last amendment to this print, Chair recognizes Mr. Rush. Mr. Rush has an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
Mr. Chairman.
Just a minute, Mr. Rush.
Amendment to the committee print dated January
Without objection,
19th.
the amendment will be considered as read, and gentlemen is recognized to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my amendment is simple and directs the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, NTIA, to consider whether an eligible entity applying for a grant is a, quote, socially and economically disadvantaged small business concern, end of quote, as defined under Section 8A of the Small Business Act. The purpose of this amendment is for the NTIA to take into account women and minority-owned businesses when issuing grants for the development of broadband services. The amendment does not run afoul of the Constitution and is not a, quote, quota, end of quote, or a, quote, set-aside, end of quote, program that would be of serious concerns to the court. The amendment only requires that NTIA exhibit sensitivity to the needs of women and minority-owned businesses in an effort to promote diversity in the marketplace. This is only one factor among many that NTIA must consider when issuing grants, and is not a definitive factor. My staff has consulted with CRS, and CRS does not believe this amendment raises constitutional problems. Mr. Chairman, I have been a long champion of increasing women and minority ownership in the telecommunications industry. For too long, the same faces and the same companies have dominated this highly lucrative, multi-billion-dollar market with no chance for disadvantaged businesses to participate and to compete. This amendment is a small step attempting to create diversity in the marketplaces so that all businesses can take advantage of advanced telecommunications services. Mr. Chairman, I thank you, and I yield back the balance of my time, and I urge the passage of this amendment.
Any discussion of the Rush amendment?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Barton.
I just rise in support of the Rush amendment, but it would ask a question: if universities that were disadvantaged under the Bowl Championship Series would be considered to be economically disadvantaged or socially disadvantaged under the definitions of this Act?
Under the definition of this Act, they will be both socially and economically and athletically disadvantaged.
I thank you for that clarification. Sounds like a good amendment.
All those in favor of the Rush amendment say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment's agreed to.